Dr. Nellie Kangwa, your relationship expert. Today we are dealing with men issues. We are talking about a man. So this is how I feel I need to go about this. I'm going to start from the very day you are pronounced baby boy because it makes such a difference. In every family, when a boy child is born, everybody knows that the name has been extended. Everybody knows that this man carries the seed of extension. Everybody in the family celebrates because now they know that the king or the prince of the house, the one who shall continue the scepter, has been born. So why is it that, of course, I know that a girl child is equally important, but for now, let's celebrate this baby boy. Let's celebrate this boy child that has visited in the home. Do you know that from the very moment it shows up that it's a boy child, everyone knows somehow there's responsibility. In every boy child, there is responsibility that every person thinks a boy knows it all. Even from when you are just a child, everyone will know that you're going to be the leader, you're going to be the leader of your family, you're going to head a family, you're going to take care of your family, and you're going to provide for your family. So why is it that? And so these are some of the things I want to talk about, because today, basically, I would love to address a man from dating to the time he is getting married, because a lot of issues. Today I am sitting on the other side and my heart is aching, because I used to deal with a lot of women in issues, a lot of women in pain, a lot of women, nursing infidelity issues. But it's been very surprising because of late, I think for the past, 5 years, I have been dealing with a lot of men who are in pain. A lot of men who don't know what to do. And my own conclusion is that a woman can put up with a lot of issues going on in a marriage. And I think somehow God made us to be so immune to some of the situations that when those things are happening, you are kind of get yourself to be immune and to still, go by. But I think the men don't have such strong emotions, so they really break down. I sit there and sometimes I feel so sorry, like, what can I do? So is it because we assume that the boy knows what he's doing? Is it because we assume that he's strong because he is strong physically, and so we think even emotionally this boy is strong? I don't know. So let's go back. Let's just walk the road and let's go back to the time this boy child is growing up in that home. So you will see that this boy will be left to do most of the things by himself. The girl child will be called by the mother, come and wash plates, come and be part of what I'm doing. Meanwhile, a boy child will be left alone. In very, very few homes where a boy child is also participating in some house chores. But many times a boy child is left to grow up by himself, especially if the dad is even absent. You'll see that he'll be lingering around the skirt of the mother. And in some places, in some homes, you find that maybe the father even refused parity, and so he is not present in that home, and the child starts, growing up by himself, figuring out himself what he needs to do, what things needs to be done. And so because this is what is happening to this boy child, somewhere I feel something starts missing in this child, because unlike the girl whose hand is being held and mommy is there to tell her, look, clean this, wash this and do that, for the boy child, he's left to play with toys, he's left to watch TV, he's left not to even know how to wash his own clothes, to wash his own socks, to wash his own underwear. Somehow he is neglected from that point. And so later on, this boy now starts having, his voice that's, becoming stronger. He begins to develop that bass, to his voice, and he starts growing his beard. I'm seeing that some of the young boys even starts, applying all these creams that cause the beard to grow fast and whatever, especially this generation. When you see a big beard, just know someone is in their 30s, 40s. Yeah, that's how we are knowing, because our husbands, the 50-year-olds, they are clean shaved. So let's get this young boy. As he's having these hormones developing, he starts developing, morning glory, where he gets his erection in the morning and he doesn't know what to do with it. Some of them, they tell their mothers. Some of them, they actually, if they are close to their dad, they may actually show up. Or they will just discuss amongst themselves. They will talk with their friends. Because this boy child, there's no one who is really paying attention to the boy child. Now, the reason I'm saying so is because when I've been sitting, on the other side of the chair, looking at this married man, I kind of feel that loneliness. I kind of feel that emptiness, like he doesn't even know what to do. And because he's been told that he's macho, or he should be strong. As a man, don't cry. You should be strong and all. He doesn't even know who to share with when he is actually having such type of problems or such type of issues. And so as he's growing up, he starts now experimenting, and in his experiments, sometimes he ends up making mistakes. In experiments, I think he ends up also doing something that, he starts masturbating. He starts getting, information from friends, and some of the information just starts getting him to be wrong. And it's like, so what is really going on? What is really happening here? What is he supposed to do? What should be done when such things begin to happen? And this boy child, he's 17, he's now in his teens. He's just asking friends what is happening, and he starts dating girls. He dates this girl, he's not serious, he's dating the other girl is not serious, and they get a little serious, and then the relationship ends. So it is like trial and error. He is just moving into trial and error. I want to submit that the boy child is missing out somewhere. Should we blame it on parents? For some time now, let me load it up on parents, because as you are watching me right now, I would love to bring it to attention that as parents, mom and dad, you are totally responsible over what becomes of this boy child in his, background, in his teen years. You need to be present, especially daddy. Daddy, you need to be present in your boy child. You shouldn't just talk to him when you are, when he's done something wrong and you've got to shout. That's all he knows. That's the only way he can relate with his daddy, is when he's done something wrong. I think there's a missing link somewhere. There's something that is missing, and we need to address this issue now, because if we deal with this issue now, it'll be easy for us to actually help the next generation. So when we follow through this boy, nobody has been sitting with her to tell her what it means to be a leader, what it means to be a father, what it means to be a husband. Even when he's observing, he is not actually observing anything from daddy. He's not seeing daddy loving mommy. He's not seeing daddy doing certain things for mommy. All he sees daddy doing is bringing groceries, paying school fees, and so it just is an ATM. That's all he sees. He's not a friendly person. He's not somebody who is sociable. That is what he's observing. And because nobody is sitting down with him, and even his observations are wrong, what are we creating? Who are we creating? A leader? A husband? Somebody who's going to take care of a family? I really wonder. So let's follow through this, young man as he's growing up. So he finds himself in university. Even in university, he's left all by himself. And, some of them, they find their wives from university. Some of them are still playing in university. So many things are going on when this boy child is in college, when this boy child is in university. So much is happening. He's almost left by himself in confusion. And some of them now start sleeping out because they don't even know how to deal with their erection. They don't know how to settle things because they haven't been trained on how to train their minds. On how to, to bring their minds into captivity where they are able to train their minds, not to be watching things that will influence their erections, not to be in discussions that will influence their bodies and all that. So when these things are happening, when these things are going on, this boy now just loses himself. 24, 25, 26, everybody now is expecting him to bring a young girl at home. This is the one I want to settle with. Who has been sitting with you? Who has been sitting with this boy child. Meanwhile, the girl, when she became of age, some elderly women came around her, taught her how to clean herself, taught her this and that. There's so much concentration on the girl child and basically what she needs to come and be when she becomes, a wife. When time comes for this girl child to go to university, there are rules and regulations. I remember even myself, I'm a culprit. When my daughter was going into university, there were rules. Don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. But I think, if I remember very well, there was a kind of a relaxation on the boy child because it's like, he will know what to do. Oh, this one is a girl. So you need to come home early because you are a girl. You need to be this because you are a girl. But who is really paying attention to this boy child? So time to get married comes. The girl is taken by the elderly women again, and she's being screwed into understanding what marriage is all about, what she needs to do when she's pregnant, what she needs to do to her husband, and so many things are being told to this young girl who is talking to the boy child, who is talking to this father to be, who is talking to this husband to be. We have a lot to deal with. And so if nobody is talking to you, I would love to challenge you. You need to find somebody. You need to go all out, to go and seek for somebody to give you some information, because let me tell you, you've never gone to this territory called marriage. You don't know the emotions of a woman. You don't know how she behaves when she's got a child. So you've got to do yourself a favor, because nobody is actually having a program. Nobody's waking up. Even when there are all these men's conferences and men's meetings, most of the time it's a lot of bragging and a lot of this. There isn't so much this sacred talk that goes on in most of the men's meetings. Even with women's workshops, women's conferences, you find that even at a workshop, at a church workshop, a woman, a preacher will be addressing marriage issues, will be addressing the bedroom, a woman will be learning from conferences, learning from workshops, learning when other elderly women are teaching her. But very few conferences are really centering on educating a young man, educating a man on how to be a good father, educating a man on how to be a good husband, educating a man on how to remain focused when the wife flips. But because these things are not there, I guess men must start educating themselves, must start being deliberate or being intentional in getting these things established. So when now he's about to get married, he's going to be a father and all that, nothing much is taught. So please, you need to learn to get information. You need to learn to find an elderly man, somebody who's older than you, somebody who's experienced, somebody who's already in marriage, to start helping you. Sometimes you may want to also engage an elderly woman, because an elderly woman will be able to tell you what a woman is looking out for. An elderly woman can actually add some value to you to help you understand the emotional tantrums of your wife and how to cool down her tantrums. An elderly woman will be able to do that. So whoever you find comfort in to learn some things, I think you need to be intentional. You need to be deliberate, because when you are now about to get married, let me tell you, one thing you don't understand is that this woman that you are bringing in your space can actually either destroy you to nothing or make you into a king. The woman has got ability to destroy a man. A woman has ability to build a man. And this ability, let me tell you, it is God who put in that ability for a woman to be a solution. Because that's just what it says in the Bible, that when he looked at a man, he said, it is not good for man to be alone. I will make him a helper suitable. Who is this helper? Somebody who is coming to ensure that all the issues are, there are solutions and they are fixable, and so many things that this woman is coming from God, because she is coming as a solution. Now you need to know that if she does not understand that she is coming as a solution, she can actually destroy the very thing that you are building. That is why it is very important, Before you actually surrender your surname, remember that this woman will be bearing your surname. Remember that what will be coming out of her womb will be bearing your surname. And she is the one who's going to be spending most of the time with your seed, with your children. She's the one who will be determining their character and what will be happening to them. You've got to ensure that you bring the right person in your life. And so it is critical what you do during dating, during courtship, during the time that you are now surrendering your surname on top of the head of this woman. Who is this woman that you're going to call your wife? Do you understand? Are you able to tell that she's well-mannered? Are you able to tell that she's got a heart, to bring family together? Are you able to tell that it is beyond the beauty of her face? Because you need to follow the heart. As much as beauty is something that ignites you, she needs to look good. She needs to look appetizing. She needs her body. Let me tell you, those breasts will not be the same. When you find her, she'll be having this standing breast. She'll be having a sexy body. But when she has children, it won't be maintained like that. So it should be beyond. What you're seeing in this woman should be beyond her body structure. You need to walk right into her heart to find her. That is why take time. Don't just bring anybody just because she's called a woman into your life, because there are some people who have actually brought a woman who has destroyed their lives. Because this whole thing, and it's not, let me warn the brothers in church, it's not even about her lifting her hands. It's not even about her being in the choir. It's not even about her being very active. Because today, many so-called brothers, they think, I need to marry somebody who can preach a little bit, who can make a particular prayer. Well, the girls also know. They know that when a man is looking for one to marry, they come to church. So if a girl has to go to church and pretend all the way, let me tell you, a woman has ability to pretend all the way, to pretend like she's got it all together all the way. So you need a third eye. You need to understand, and don't just follow her raised prayer. Don't just follow her commitment at church. Those things are important, but those should not be what should move you into marrying this particular woman. So when you're dating, get to spiritually find out the type of woman that you are going to call your wife. Find out where she's coming from. Who did she grow up with? Did she grow up with the father? Did she grow up with the mother? All those things have got influence in her life. Let me give you an example. If a woman did not grow up with the father, there are certain things that you may need or you may want to know. You need to get ready to actually fill in that gap. That is a gap crisis. She'll always, most of the times, if she does not work on herself, she'll always want to make you into a father. She'll become a little more possessive so that you can fill up that empty place that she's not experienced from the dad. So she'll be very, she'll be expecting you to do this. She'll be expecting you to be available and to kind of like nurse her a little bit. So when you don't do that, then she starts reacting. And when a woman starts reacting, that's why the Bible says, rather I stay on top of a roof than with a woman who's nagging. These things are real. Let me tell you, when the writers were writing these things, they were not just dreaming. They are women who can nag like a tap dropping, just like that. They can keep talking until you actually resent your own home. They can keep talking until you fall in wrong hands. So that is why it is important for you to have this understanding. Who did she grow up with? So while you are doing all that, it is so that you are ready. It is so that you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. And so when you make even a small mistake, you need to also understand how long that